Cuba is in darkness. Cuba's whole electrical grid is gone. Gone, y'all. Ever since that orange-haired motherfucker, that fucking Oompa Loompa, took over the office and took over Venezuela, Cuba has been cut off.
All right, yo, so things are getting really intense right now. Donald Trump recently made comments saying Cuba is going to fall. And now, with reports coming out that parts of Cuba are literally in darkness, people are starting to connect the dots. And some are calling the situation catastrophic. It is catastrophic, you guys, while others think it's being blown out of proportion. Now, online reactions are all over the place, and some people are worried. Others are questioning what he really meant by taking Cuba. It sparked a lot of debate and confusion. So, I've put together clips showing different perspectives on this. Just to be clear, this video is purely for discussion and informational purposes. No hate, no harassment, just looking at what people are saying. Let's get into the video.
So while you were distracted with everything happening in Dubai, do you even know that Cuba has fallen? Or has that also been suppressed on your timeline as well? Cuba is at the brink of societal collapse, with many US politicians currently saying that it's likely to fully collapse in the next coming weeks or months if it even gets to that point. Cuba, the same country that was in the Bad Bunny song that you were also happy to sing a couple weeks ago, they really need our help. Because the US have had a trade embargo on Cuba for over 60 years, decades of restricting trade, restricting financial investments, completely draining and suppressing the country. The United States have targeted oil shipments from Cuba, have discouraged other countries like Mexico and Venezuela, stopping them from giving Cuba any oil, which, by the way, is directly contributing to the mass fuel shortage happening right now in Cuba. Like, it's so peak. We are on the wrong side of history, guys, okay? Even the United Nations themselves have said that this embargo perpetrated by the United States worsens shortages of food, medicine, basic needs. But please, pray tell, did you even know any of this? Or is your timeline currently suppressing the fact that Cuba is falling?
Cuba is in darkness. Cuba's whole electrical grid is gone. Gone, y'all. Ever since that orange-haired motherfucker, that fucking Oompa Loompa, took over the office and took over Venezuela, Cuba has been cut off. They're not getting medical supplies. They're not getting oil, which is not running those hospitals. They're not getting clean water, which oil helps that. Oil is the key foundation to every country. Now they're in complete darkness. So more people are going to lose their lives. That means children too. And Cubans are pissed. Protesters in Cuba attacked the Communist Party's headquarters. They are pissed off. They torched all the office furniture and they had a big ass fucking bonfire. I mean, at this point, they're gonna need light some way. There are food and fuel shortages, which means people are gonna start acting the fucking fool. And you have nobody to blame but this goddamn administration. And all for what? A regime change. That's right. They want a regime change in Cuba. So they're gonna starve civilians out to get a regime change. Can we get a regime change?
Trump is in the Oval Office today on Monday, March 16th, saying that he can very well take Cuba. It will be his honor to take over Cuba, and that he can very well do what he wants with Cuba. Today it was known on Monday, March 16th, that Cuba's electrical grid totally collapsed. And this is due to the United States sanctions limiting their oil supply to keep their power plants running. And he's in the Oval Office stating that he can do what he wants with Cuba. This is not normal. Nothing this man does is normal. How come we haven't seen the impeachment come about yet? Nothing this man does is normal. It's not normal behavior at all.
Breaking news coming in. The entire country of Cuba is going through a blackout as I'm giving you this message right now. Total blackout. 11 million people are on that island without power, electricity. They're calling it a complete disconnection. As you guys know, this is coming after Trump's rhetoric over the past course of a couple of months, actually, how he's saying that Cuba is next. Cuba is next. Now, today, over 11 million people are without power. Today, also, Trump gave another press conference about Cuba, saying he could save Cuba, he could take Cuba, he could do whatever the hell he wanted with Cuba. So, we will see where this leads. Obviously, tensions are escalating very fast. Very, very fast. We don't know what the next move will be. This could just be just a disconnection. It could be just, you never know. You never know. I'm not pointing the blame anywhere. I'm just speaking out loud and thinking out loud, because 11 million people are literally trapped on that island right now because of Trump's blockade of oil to Cuba as well. So that's affecting them too. I will keep following this story for you guys. As always, follow along for more.
If you've been seeing videos about Cuba's electrical grid collapsing and leaving millions of people without electricity, I want you to look at this video from when I was in Cuba in November.
So I came to a hotel to get Wi-Fi, and the power just went out. It's still in Cuba. This is something that has been consistently happening. Not a problem for me, but it's just alarming, the things that people don't know. Also, TikTok is banned in Cuba. So probably why you don't see a lot of information about what's going on the ground is because it is banned. And I'm actually staying with a Cuban family, with a local family, but I came here because I knew I'd be able to find like some semblance of Wi-Fi, because the Wi-Fi is not as strong in the homes. But let y'all see, literally in a hotel, in a cafe, power completely out.
Now, one of the reasons that I went and ventured off to a hotel to find Wi-Fi is that these sanctions go beyond just fuel. I have T-Mobile. When I was going there the first time, they were like, yeah, we don't have any connections or support in Cuba. So where traditionally you can connect to a local international network, T-Mobile does not. And when I tried to attempt to buy a SIM card, it would not allow it to happen for my phone. Also, the first time I went to Cuba, people said, oh, we want to send you like a little something so that way you can give to the people and support. So because two people sent money to my Cash App, one person put Cuba for Cuba in the subject and another person put the Cuban flag, I actually got my Cash App deleted. Which I'm not mad at the people, I'm mad at the sanctions, because I wasn't even in Cuba yet. And what if I was in Cuba as American, potentially stranded or something, and family members were sending me money? Our government has made it so hard to try to attempt to help Cuban people that folks have had to do gymnastics even with just contacting folks in Cuba or trying to send them money. So if you're someone interested in helping, go to my bio. There's a fleet full of folks that are going to Cuba, and this aid and this money will be given hand to hand.
Okay, so let's get this straight, you guys. I was going through the comment section and I did my research and stuff. So I landed on Reddit where people were like, Cuba's grid was a deliberate takedown. And it's been under US sanctions forever. And recently, under Trump, their oil was cut off. Trump 1.0 wasn't easy on Cuba, easy, and totally cutting off Cuba's oil supply with no humanitarian exception, like which was against long-term U.S. policy and was inhuman. Now, regret resilience, and this particular person said they were reading somewhere, like they could not even remember where they read this information, that Taiwan had the world's strongest grid, which could stand up to like typhoons or these hurricanes. Now, I just don't fundamentally understand what these guys think like other countries can learn from Cuba. Yes, if the US major fuel source is shut off, then people have grid outages, of course, and that's not fragility, it's just physics. That's according to some of the things that I have said. And also I feel that people are coming out on the internet here to say this is due to the orange man said this, and Let me tell you something I have come to realize about the orange man. The orange man will always take an interest in countries that have oil and minerals. Take this, for instance, the recent siege that took place. Was it a siege? There was none. It wasn't even a siege. This president of why am I going to forget at this point? But recently he went and just captured this man. I think it's this man that was recently captured by Donald Trump. It's because most people were saying, oh, there's an interest, there's oil, a lot of oil coming out of that place. That's why there's such an interest. So that's why they capture. Yeah. Now, after that, we also get to hear about him taking an interest in Nigeria, sending a strong message to Nigerians. And they were like, okay, we are rich in minerals. We have silver, we have gold, we have other mineral resources that you guys can make something out of. You know how it is with this and everything that these people say. I honestly cannot imagine the plight of the Cuban people right now because electricity is so very important. Cuba said on Friday that it had entered into talks with the U.S. Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel said last week that the island had not received a shipment of fuel in 3 months. And I think they held on longer than I expected because you living in darkness, you need to run on electricity. Everything that we do, washing, lighting, phones, everything that we do, we depend on electricity, Wi-Fi, everything, television, everything, we depend on it. So I cannot imagine the plight that these guys are going through. I'm really sending my prayers, and you guys help me send prayers to the Cuban people so they can maybe rectify the situation. If they can, there's a way they can rectify. If there's a way they can work around that so everything gets restored back. It would be so so nice. Otherwise, if you have family, you have friends, and they're in Cuba, let's continue praying for them because this plight. We like I thought they held on longer than I expected. We're just sending our prayers to the Cuban people and the people who are in Cuba. If there are any issues, I pray that they get resolved ASAP. And I am serious about it because I'm one person. I know what it means to be in darkness. Yeah. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this.